Hello friends, today I will tell about Thriller 2013 year under title Plan of Escape. Federal Corrective Institution Bandwater, Colorado. One of the prisoners burns pages of the Bible and then draws with soot on the wall. In this time they warn him about preparing on him attack, and when it happens the man manages to give resistance, but him sent to punishment isolation. Passing through the corridors, he attentively observes the guards and notes every detail. Cigarettes of the guard, code lock on the doors, time of smoke breaks. Returning to the cell, he prepares sticky mass from toilet paper and attentively examines packet from under milk and then asks the guard time. That one surprised, but names exact hour, and then calls partner on smoke break. The prisoner counts seconds of his absence. In this time on parking in front of prison explodes automobile, begins turmoil. Judging by the video cameras, all prisoners on place, but entering in the cell, the guard does not find there his ward. Firefighters extinguish burning car. One of them sits in the arrived automobile, takes off suit of firefighter, and turns out escaped prisoner. People in the car greet him, and then drop off at roadside telephone. Police immediately notice man in orange jumpsuit. Messages about this scatter across nearby precincts, and to the booth arrive many police cars. But fugitive keeps completely calm and obediently raises hands. Warden of prison introduce Ray Breslin, co-owner of independent security company, which manages his partner Lester Clark. Federal Bureau of Prisons hired them for inspection of corrective institutions across the country. For last 7 years, he visited practically in all maximum security prisons. Ray managed to make escape from 14 maximum security prisons and even wrote book about this. And now he tells on what failed this prison. For escape necessary 3 things: no plan of building, study routine of guards, and help outside or inside. Here weak place, solitary. It's super modern, but located with unprotected fire garage. To get into solitary, it was necessary to make enemies. In the institution, not enough personnel, and instead of 2 guards him accompanied 1. While Ray was in the cell, guard left to smoke for whole 7 minutes. Remained only to organize diversion. In this time how to learn code, packet with milk contains thin layer of laminated film, removal and apply to code lock. Past seconds, fingerprints will show which buttons pressed. Receiving lunch, Ray blocked lock of door for transfers and got to code lock. Having rewound video on post of guard, he swept traces and he had left still minute to get to garage. So from prison him took out firefighters. Warden had only one question: what normal person voluntarily will sit in prison? Los Angeles, California. The company of Breslin turns employee of CIA Jessica Mayer, who offers Ray to test a legal commercial secret prison tomb for especially dangerous criminals. Difficulty in that this institution financed by private persons, therefore no one will know location of Breslin. Colleagues of Ray, Abigail, Rose, and Hash. This not like, but ambitious Breslin agrees on this offer. Through 24 hours man should be taken from indicated place. New Orleans, Louisiana. Ray prepare for infiltration. Now he Spanish terrorist Anthony Portos. Him inform code of evacuation, which should report to chief of prison if something will go not so, and implant beacon under skin of hand. Ray calmly goes out on street, but him knock out with stun gun and throw into minibus. People in masks discover beacon, cut out and destroy it, and to Ray inject some drug. All subsequent he sees like in delirium. Helicopter, fight, and guy whom throw out right on flight. Comes to senses man in cell with glass walls. Around such same cells in which many people. Breslin shocked by scales and unusualness of prison. For newly arrived watches chief of prison Willard Hobs. At acquaintance with Ray he refutes all details. Here no other chief and no evacuation code works. Colleagues of Breslin try to find him, but no traces. Ray studies character of prison, they very harsh. Guards walk in masks and mercilessly beat prisoners for any offense. One of authorities decides to probe newcomer, but for him intervenes Emil Rottmayer, who says that once was bodyguard of bank swindler of world scale Victor Mannheim, who likes to take money from the rich and give them to the poor. He nastroyen to Ray friendly and offers his help in case of what. On table of Hobs lies book of Ray Breslin about safety of corrective institutions. Ray asks Emil to help him get into local solitary. They stage between themselves fight, after which them both place in isolation, tiny room, where prisoners continuously illuminated by huge and very hot lamps. Ray notices that floor in isolation attached with steel rivets. Abigail rose and hashed demand from Clark to find and return Ray. That one under pressure promises to do this. Breslin visited by Doctor, and he reminds Mann about Oath of Hippocrates. After exit from solitary, Ray asks Rottmayer to get him piece of metal, and for this he will pull him out from this place. Rottmayer asks on interrogation to Hobs and puzzles him. Having lost patience, sadist orders to apply torture by water. Emil, coming to senses, manages to remove big metal rivet from floor. This that what needed. Ray tells Emil about goal of his stay. Here he supposes that prison built somewhere underground or in cave. To him again, need to get into solitary. There he, polished with piece of metal, will reflect light from lamps, will heat rivets, and can penetrate under floor. They arrange fight with Javed and get into isolation, where Rottmayer simulates hysteria, distracting guards. In that time as Ray removes rivets and gets into water supply, getting out through it outside. However, having got upward, Ray discovers that located on board of huge ship in middle of ocean, and understanding that escape not succeed, returns back into solitary. Hobs contacts with Clark, and that name's real name of prisoner and asks to ensure that Ray remained in prison forever. In addition, in banking sphere began big failures, which impossible solve without Mannheim, so the warden will have to apply all forces to find out where he located. And for this need to press on Rottmayer and Breslin. Guards begin to beat Ray and not allow him to sleep. Emil in every way tries to support comrade. Once Breslin confesses that earlier was lawyer, guy whom he imprisoned promised him to revenge. He escaped from prison and killed family of Ray. Emil understands. At him also there is daughter, and calls not to give up, get out and revenge to that who sent him here. Ray cannot find not one blind zone, but nevertheless studies habits of guards. Later he tries to know from Dr. Kyrie in which point of globe they located, but that refuses to speak. Then Ray from improvised materials and glasses crafts sextant, with help of which possible establish latitude, but for this need to get outside. In this moment Hobs decides to isolate Breslin from all prisoners. He confesses that built his prison by his book. Ray promises that will get from Rottmayer information about Mannheim, after which Hobs lets him back. Rottmayer asks help from Javed, promising to assist his escape from prison. That informs Hobs about preparing escape, and Warden in exchange allows him to hold prayer on open air. Having gone on night prayer, Javed with help of sextant establishes latitude on which arrives ship. Water flows counterclockwise, means this north. New prisoner named exact date of his imprisonment, November 14th. On top warm air and rain. By all these signs Ray calculates that ship located near coast of Morocco. Rottmayer knows guy in Casablanca, who obliged him with life. But how to send a message? To Ray finally manages to incline on his side doctor, telling him who he such in reality. And check this doctor can, having looked book of Breslin on table of Hobs, and reminds him about given oath. Doctor rereads Oath of Hippocrates and goes into office of Hobs, and then demands to bring Breslin. He ready to help. Ray informs Hobs' false location of Mannheim, but they understand that this will distract attention of Warden only on day. At night Hobs notices that Ray knocks with neighbor. He uses his book and reads message about preparing uprising in Block C. Doctor transmits message to Moroccan acquaintance of Rottmayer about place and time of their meeting. Hobs sets guard in Block C. Javed starts fight, during which they manage to seize weapon, escape into utility room, and turn off all cameras of video surveillance. However, Hobs manages to lock doors because of what fugitives cannot get outside, and then sends for them detachment of guards, who find heroes with help of motion sensors. Fugitives enter into firefight with guards, in which Javed receives serious wound. Having locked in one of rooms, Ray turns off motion sensors. He orders Rottmayer climb up, and himself goes into engine room to disable system of power supply and unlock doors. But Javed refuses to go. Resigned, that one gives him his pistol and goes on deck. Javed opens fire on pursuers. Hobs understands. Breslin goes in engine room and rushes after. Having found wounded Javed, Hobs finishes him. Chief of Guards finds Breslin. Between them begins fight, but Ray wins. He breaks into engine room and de-energizes ship. Helicopter of friends of Rottmayer opens fire on steering cabin of ship and then on guards. One of machine gunners finds bullet, and having reached helicopter, Rottmayer takes his place. In this time Ray, hiding in engine room, waits when compartment fills with water and works system of its dumping. Him throws into open ocean under bottom of ship prison. Rottmayer from helicopter throws to him rope ladder. Having run out on deck, Hobs opens fire on helicopter, but Emil throws to Ray pistol, and that shoots a tank with fuel located on deck of ship. Happens explosion in which Hobs perishes. Helicopter lands on coast of Morocco. The fugitives landed on shore drives up automobile, in which located assistant of Rottmayer and also Jessica Mayer. It turns out that she, daughter of Emil, who not Rottmayer, but that same elusive Mannheim. She did all to get father from dungeons of tomb. Ray also learns that his partner Clark was completely in course of happening. To him offered to head network tomb, but only in that case, if Ray not manages to get out from floating prison, proving by that system invulnerable. Exactly therefore he himself organized imprisonment of Ray in experimental prison and did all that Breslin from it never would come out. Clark tries to hide, but Hash found him in Miami. Having come to senses, Trader discovers himself in closed automobile, which located in locked container on ship in middle of ocean. Film, which impossible was to imagine in 80s, that on one site would meet two legends of Hollywood, Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Must were past years, and seems turned out very not bad. Friends, thank you for viewing. Write in comments what think about this film, and do not forget please to support me with like and subscribe.